Why can't you smell the roses, Rory? You need to embrace the cleansing fire. Embrace the ashes.
Hello there, my name is Chip Bradshaw. I have a podcast called The Rest Here is Silence. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about Malachi's Diner.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's fine. Why don't you stay here and I'll find someone more important to ask.
Sure thing, thank you.
Malachi, I have bad news, very bad news. This is, dare I say, our doomsday. We need to prepare. I told you we needed an arsenal. Now look at us, we're sitting ducks. Oh, no, this isn't the time to panic. Okay, what we need to do...
Gibson! What is the fuss?
Someone has come to investigate us.
Ooh. That is unsavory news. But there's no need to panic. As you said, we've been through worse.
Really?
Oh, sure. Remember the fire of 54?
Yeah, that's right.
The robbery of 59?
Oh, I do remember.
The pirate raid of 63?
Oh, that was a doozy.
The wolf pack of 67?
Yes.
And remember that one time when those crows came in through the chimney in 1972?
Oof.
And let's not forget, the vigilante group that was offended by our food in 1977?
I still want to find them.
Point being, we'll be just fine.
I mean, I do get why someone would want to record an episode of a podcast about the restaurant. It's just, I don't know. I worry that if they really get too far into it, they're going to find something. I don't know.
Podcast? Gibson. I thought we were being investigated by the police. This is really no problem at all.
Oh, okay, well then, I'll go find him.
Gibson, I will go speak with him. Thank you. Hiya. I heard you wanted to make a little podcast episode about our restaurant.
Oh, yes, you must be Malachi.
That's right. I think this podcast idea is fantastic. Just let us know if you need any help.
All right. Well, if it'd be all right with you, I'd like to start with a tour of your restaurant.
Sounds good to me. Who wants to do it?
I don't think so.
I won't have my hand at exposing anything.
First off, what? And secondly, I don't know enough.
Well, looks like as per usual, any amount of productivity around here falls on me. Hi, Chad. I'm Carla. Follow me.
It's Chip, actually.
That's not a real name.
It's short for Charles, if that does anything for you.
Well, Charles it is. Let's go.
All right.
Well, we have pretty typical operations here at Malachi's. The color scheme was decided a few years ago. Around 1943. Yes, you guessed it, right in the middle of the war. Yet they still chose a color scheme that never had a chance of aging.
Very interesting. What about general operations of the floor? Who delivers the food? Who takes the orders in?
Well, on a good day, we have Rory, Shane, and Gibson taking orders in their designated areas in the restaurant. They take it back to me in the kitchen, and then I cook it, and then they take it back to their own tables. On a bad day, our lead server Gibson, why he's the lead, I'll never know. He'll decide that he doesn't want to work, so sometimes I end up picking up the slack. But on a good day, it's not that bad, I guess.
Are you saying some people do not work around here?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, let's go to the back room.
You're the reason I don't work around here. I wouldn't ever want to work with you.
Alright, so this is the back room. This is where employees take their breaks, permitted or otherwise. That said, I am never back here.
Starting to catch a trend here.
Good. Although I will say, the back room used to not be here. And then Gibson came along and they needed a place for their breaks, so the back room rose to existence. I'm joking. You should ask me what it's like to be the funniest person I know. To the basement. Well, here's the basement.
So what is the basement for?
Well, originally it wasn't even owned by Malachi's. It was used to produce something. Maybe it was juice?
How did you guys get in here?
Well, there was a bust, and the juice operation had to be shut down. It was about 3 months after they cleared out that we found the basement door.
So what do you use it for now?
Well, just, general meetings and miscellaneous things.
So you use the basement for meetings?
Yeah.
Well, all this stuff about the restaurant has been great, thank you. I was wondering if you could tell me more about the historical sites around the restaurant.
Fine. But if Malachi says that I'm not working, I will screech.
So, how did you end up here?
That's boring. I'd rather talk about Malachi's. Did I already tell you? Our walls used to have lead paint. Well, it mostly got taken down in the 80s.
Mostly? No, wait. I've heard enough about the restaurant. Tell me about you. How did you end up in here?
Fine. My parents smuggled me out of the Soviet Union in the 80s. I found a place in New York. I graduated high school. I followed the Grateful Dead around a lot and traveled as much as I could around the country. Visa complications and all. And then I found DuPont.
So, why DuPont? How did you end up in a town like this?
I don't know. I mean, I've spent so much time wandering. I was looking for somewhere to finally settle down without, getting rid of all the pieces of me that are rebellious or something.
DuPont doesn't strike me as a very rebellious place.
It isn't. Malachi's can be, though.
How so?
God. So inquisitive.
I am an investigative journalist.
You're a podcaster.
Why are you so afraid to answer my questions?
Why are you so inquisitive that I'm here? I mean, I needed a job. DuPont's a peaceful town.
But
Jesus! You know what? Sometimes you live and grow up in a tiny little house and your parents barely speak English and you grow up with everyone just making fun of you for everything, and then you run away and you work terrible job after terrible job, and you just want to find a place that you can bring people in and keep them there, no matter how you treat them, because they had it easy. You treat them the way that you've always been treated, and Malachi's gave me that.
Malachi's gave you that.
Our customers are loyal. They come back no matter how we treat them. It's kind of a release. treating people the way you've always been treated.
So your customers keep coming back. Why?
Ugh, this is so boring. Can't we talk about something else, please? We just got new spoons.
No, I think that's all right. Thank you for your time, though. I still have a few more questions. Would you mind grabbing Shane for me?
Sure.
Thank you for coming here, Shane. I've been meaning to speak with you. I have a few questions for my profile.
Sure.
Excellent. All right, Shane. How long have you been working here at Malachi's Diner?
Longer than I'd like to say. Like 6 years or so.
How is it?
I do have my gripes, but working at Malachi's brings me stability and routine, which are two things I need.
And why do you need those things?
I don't need surprises. I like to know what to expect. And working at Malachi's, there's a usual crowd of people, and I have a usual set of jobs.
Sounds reasonable. So where are you from?
I'm from here, in DuPont.
That's very interesting. You must have family here, right?
I moved out of my parents' place. We don't talk much, but they're here.
Why don't you speak to them, if you don't mind me asking?
We had arguments that were fundamental. They're not the best people.
How so?
They both work in healthcare. My dad is a nurse, and my mom is an obstetrician, and that sounds great, but then you hear that they were taking money from people, and that's where it gets crummy.
When did this happen?
About the same time I started working at Malachi's, like 6 years ago or so. News spread in the papers a little bit.
That sounds tough.
It was, but now it's not. Working at Malachi's, everyone has the same mindset, so it makes me feel welcome.
Yes, I would think so. All right, Shane. Thank you very much for coming in and talking with me.
No problem.
Ah, Rory. Thank you for coming in. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure. I am pretty new, so there might be someone better to ask if you're wondering about the history of this place.
Oh, I know you're pretty new. I'd still like to get your perspective.
Okay, in that case, sure.
All right. How do you like working here?
I mean, it's alright. You're surprisingly the first person to ask me that. It's interesting, to say the least, but I think I'm finding some new friends here.
Well, that's just great, Rory. And where are you from?
A lot of people have asked me that. I'm from out of town, trying to find a new home.
I see. And how do you feel about how the restaurant works?
I don't know. I've worked at a couple of different restaurants, and they've been pretty similar.
So you're all right with all that goes on around here?
I don't think I can afford not to be. What do you mean?
All of the shady business. You're telling me you're all right with it?
Rory, time for work.
Wait, what do you mean about shady business?
Listen, Rory. Chip is trying to break us down. I knew from the moment this started he was trying to expose us.
Gibson, what do you mean? You can't be talking about whatever and then not tell me.
You're right.
So?
Usually, there's a process that we're kind of disregarding because of your impatience. We're more than just a restaurant.
Yeah, the family you never had and all that. Is that all?
I argue yes. Others argue no.
Finally, someone who could speak intelligibly.
I am far more cognizant than you would even suspect.
So, Chip was talking about the shadier things that happen here. Do you know what he means? Gibson won't give me answers.
Oh.
See, I'm not being difficult this time.
That is a big and complicated mess that normally we warm people up for.
Oh.
There's a deep-rooted history, and you aren't the first to wonder.
And also, that type of information is Malachi level clearance.
But I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I said anything, so.
But we don't know for sure, and it is best to be certain.
That's right. So, Rory, we won't be giving you any information, but soon, rest assured, you'll have all the information you need.
Well, everyone, After visiting DuPont, it is clear to me the town is not as harmonious as it seems. There is a disquiet present, and it takes the form of a diner, Malachi's Diner. A restaurant like any other, with the exception of its unfriendly waitstaff and terse management. I had heard rumors about it, that they kept people coming back despite the way they treat them. The food was addicting, but not exactly good. Upon examination, I have found that the people of DuPont certainly do flock to Malachi's. The restaurant has patrons the entire time I was there, people who took their time eating and almost seemed to enjoy the hostile environment. The food was diner food, just fine, but I wanted more. I first met with the owner and founder of Malachi's Diner, Malachi himself. Malachi told me that he was enthusiastic about my presence, but Gibson, a waiter and a passionate employee of Malachi's Diner, had other ideas. They are the one who made me suspicious of the place at first. They warned Malachi that my presence could lead to their secrets being exposed. What secrets they were referring to, I never found out. Despite attempts to contact Malachi again, I was unable to. Gibson, I only encountered once again. I sat down with the head chef, Carla, who had a clear passion for the mundane humdrum of working in a restaurant. When I asked her about cooking, what made it so special, what kept people coming back, she was vague. She hinted that Malachi had a gift that made people return. Another employee had a less terse attitude, Shane, a friendly waitress. Shane had happened upon Malachi's after an incident with her family and started anew at the diner. Shane was surprisingly friendly presence in an otherwise unsympathetic surrounding. I talked to a newer employee, Rory, a drifter who happened upon DuPont and then happened upon Malachi's and decided to settle in. When I asked them how they were feeling about the new environment, how they were being received by the strange cohort of coworkers, they seemed confused. They didn't seem to know what I meant when I referred to the place as strange. But before I could explain what I meant, Rory was whisked away by Gibson. I think I found that spending too much time in Malachi's, spending too much time in the contrasting environment full of employees who hate customers and customers who can't stay away, can be just as confusing. You forget which things are true and which are not. You can eat and still feel hungry. You can talk to an employee after employee about what makes Malachi so special and be left with nothing but more questions. I understand Rory's confusion. Being in that place at first, it felt as though there was a mystery to be solved. Being in there for longer, it felt like there were 100 mysteries to be solved. Around every corner, I found new things that didn't add up. A new employee that seemed unreasonably guarded or reasonably bewildered. But after trying and failing to receive answers, after talking to the belligerent employees and having the answers that seemed so close just disappear with the people I was trying to interview, I decided to move on. I may never understand the strange goings-on at Malachi's Diner, but the idea behind the podcast was to go from town to town, trying to find the truth, trying to find out what people have in common and what things people don't. I think that, with every new place I visit, I find something new that makes me think differently about every place I will go and every place I have been. So maybe next time I'll find some missing piece that can make sense of it all. Until then, I'll be driving through the deserts of the state until I can find what else lies out there. Until then, the rest is silence.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm.
Action!